This is the Washington Times front page for Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. President Biden made the case for his expected re-election bid in his State of the Union address, highlighting big spending achievements and calling on a divided Congress to work with him on a modest unity agenda.
We have to be the nation we've always been at our best: optimistic, hopeful, forward-looking. A nation that embraces light over dark, hope over fear, unity over division, stability over chaos. We have to see each other not as enemies, but as fellow Americans.
In the address, Jeff Murdoch and Dave Boyer report, the president proposed goals he said both parties should support: aiding veterans, fighting the opioid epidemic, tackling mental health issues, and ending cancer. Biden pointed to his legislative accomplishments, including the approval of a bipartisan $1.2 trillion infrastructure program and a massive climate tax and health care law that passed without Republican support. He urged Congress to renew the child tax credit, which expired in December 2021, and proposed other Democratic goals, including a ban on assault rifles and a codification of abortion protections in federal law. In one of the most partisan moments of the night, Biden drew shouts from Republicans when he accused them of trying to cut entitlements in their fight over raising the debt ceiling. Cracking down on American investment in China is proving to be a tougher nut to crack than many Beijing hawks initially hoped. Harris Alec reports U.S. companies have been unwilling to give up lucrative deals in a market with more than 1.4 billion people. Even critics of China's manipulative trade and economic practices say it's improbable to expect that U.S. businesses will walk away without alternative markets for investment. Some proposed sanctions have drawn bipartisan support, but could face obstacles in a narrowly divided Congress. Regardless, business and trade experts say the impact of such maneuvers would be limited in curbing U.S. investment in China. Two senior Border Patrol chiefs told Congress they need more barriers because they help shape and control the flow of legal immigration and drug smuggling into the United States. Stephen Dinan reports Chief Patrol Agent in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, Gloria Chavez, says she's found in her experience that walls work and asked for more of them. John Modlin, Chief Patrol Agent in Arizona's Tucson sector, said his area did have significant wall construction, but has been left with gaps that must be filled. They testified to the House Oversight and Accountability Committee, pointing to a rise in the number of terrorism suspects detected, a rise in fentanyl being trafficked, and a high suicide rate among overstretched Border Patrol agents. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find the entire lineup of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. Judges late last week struck down 2 federal bans on gun ownership in the wake of the Supreme Court's ruling in June that said such measures must be consistent with the laws that existed when the country was founded. Alex Sawyer reports in Texas, a federal appeals court struck down a measure banning the possession of a firearm by anyone under a court order for domestic violence, such as stalking, harassing, or threatening a partner. In Oklahoma, a federal judge tossed out an indictment against a man charged with violating a ban on the possession of a firearm by anyone who unlawfully uses or is addicted to a controlled substance. A spokesperson for the Justice Department did not respond to a request for comment about whether it will appeal either ruling. And finally, in South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa faces grim electoral prospects in the face of an uncooperative economy, a never-ending power crisis, and an uncertain foreign policy. Support for the African National Congress has slipped to its lowest point since Nelson Mandela brought the party to power 3 decades ago, but no other party has emerged as a logical alternative. Ramaphosa has led the national government since 2018. His predecessor, Jacob Zuma, is on trial on charges of corruption. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.